Four things that cause confusion in our lives. There are so many things and so many times that we fall under the state of confusion. But in my time, I've just realized that there are four major things that usually throw us into the path of confusion. 1. Lack of confidence. Confidence is a state of mind characterized by one's reliance on himself. Confidence is about faith and belief in yourself. Confidence is about approaching something boldly. The Bible in Hebrews 3:12 says, we can now come boldly and confidently into God's presence. This shows you that even God hates timid. It's just because timid brings somebody into a state of confusion, because you're not so sure what you're doing, when you're doing it, and how you're going to do it. 2. Asking too many people. We have always thrown into a path of always realizing that we cannot do so much by ourselves. But we always go into a path and a failure of always asking too many people so many questions, and yet we do not think through. Just imagine asking a person who has been married 4 times about marriage, or asking somebody who has failed in business over and over and over about business. Why don't you pick up just that one person who has been in marriage for that long to tell you why they are in that marriage? Because it's always known. Sometimes people are in a marriage because of convenience, probably just to bring up their children, but there is no more relationship in that marriage. Then that's no longer marriage. So probably somebody's in that marriage because of something. Find out. Somebody has been able to be in that business for long. Ask that particular person how they've been able to exist regardless of that business being small. How have they managed to be in that business? It is only when you ask few people that you will not fall into that path of negativity, because very many people will always give you a negative of something instead of giving you something positive. People have a tendency of always giving you the negative. Just be curious and ask people that are targeted, not everyone. 3. Fear of making mistakes. Whenever, just look at a baby. A baby will make so many mistakes to realize that is fire, that is sharp, that is high, that is low, that is tricky, that is rough, that is soft. They will need to make mistakes to grow up. They make mistakes to make it. But so many of us are so scared of making mistakes. You will never learn without making a mistake. Just remember when you're in class, they give you a certain method and you do not make it through. It is that mistake that opened your eyes into learning that mathematical method. It is a process. Life is a process. And you can never make it through without making a couple of mistakes. Because mistakes help you learn. The only time mistakes become a problem is when you repeat the same mistake over and over and over. It stops becoming a mistake, it becomes a habit. A habit is something that you do over and repetitively. Sometimes a habit, you can even do it without noticing that you're doing it actually. It's like a reflex action. So, just know one thing. A mistake is a process of learning. Lastly, excessive reasoning. We have a tendency of always thinking through something before we do it. There's nothing that will throw you in a path of confusion like excessive thinking. Thinking is good. Solomon had to think through before he made the decision on the baby when the two women brought and told him the dead kid was of so and so and the alive one was of so and so. He had to think through. But he did not do it excessively. Doing something excessively will throw you under confusion. When you think and you want to reason, you want to reason out something. In the end, sometimes even actually by the time you speak, somebody will be expecting you to say something very nice. Oh God. You'll get disappointed by what will come out of your mouth. Because you've gotten very many alternatives here and there. And yet, you're confused which of the things you thought about is the best approach. Actually, most cases, the first thing you think about in most cases is always the right one. Unless it's about doing harm to somebody. So, this is what the Bible tells us when it comes to our own state of mind. Proverbs. Let's turn to Proverbs 3:5-8. It says like this: Trust in the Lord with all